150 for different diameters, different lengths. All this you can find in our technical data sheets or in the price list. Here we use the drum 700. It is equipped with a steam adapter because we also want to do the steam curing. For this reason we have here the steam adapter with a connection to the steam. In front we have a fitting, a straight fitting, because we have straight access to the pipe. We also offer bend in 90 degrees, 45 degrees, however you want, in all the different diameters you need. 6 inch, 8 inch, whatever you need. Yeah, it is just a small section of pipe which we want to do the installation. Here we use our liner, SX2 liner. This liner is a very flexible, soft liner, which is easy to impregnate and also easy to install because of its flexibility. We also have another very flexible liner. This is SX3 or SX4 liner. These are 3D liners which are able to do the diameter change from 100 to 150 or 150 to 200 without any problems. And the difference of SX3 and SX4 liner is the thickness, just the thickness. And SX4 has 4.5 millimeter, SX3 has 3.3 millimeter. Like I said, we want to do the installation with steam curing. These liners, these PU liners, are not steam tight. That means we cannot do the steam curing direct on the liner. So for this we use the helpful tool, the calibration hose. Here we have the orange calibration hose, which is available in the different diameters from diameter 100 up to diameter 300. This is made for 80 degrees, but you can easily use it also for higher temperatures. And yes, it is steam tight, flexible enough to go also through bends, and it's a perfect tool. The resin we use is our epoxy resin EX22. I filled already in the right amount into this measuring judge, but in general the vertical resin EX resins which we have, you can have it in different pot lives. It starts with 10 minutes pot life, goes up to easily 2.5–3 hours pot life, and we have a very short curing time. This short curing time means, for example, SX2 resin, EX2 resin has a pot life of about 60 to 70 minutes, and the curing time 45 to 50 minutes with steam, so with 70 to 80 degrees steam. You see, very fast, with a very long pot life. That means big safety on site, enough time to work with. Even with higher temperatures, it is still relaxed in his reaction. First of all, I prepare the drum. I start in the front or in the back. However, here I start in the front. Have I prepared everything for it? So what I need to have is the calibration hose to cover the liner from the pipe, from the fitting to the pipe, because this has to be covered that the liner will be not overstretching during installation or during curing. And this I cover with this piece of calibration hose. I always make it a little bit longer so that it is going 5 centimeters into the pipe, and then you will also don't lose any resin in the beginning of the pipe during the installation or during the curing. Then I need the clamp, I need the tool to fix it, and I also pull through a rope, because when I wind in the liner into the drum, I need to pull through the liner to this end that I can easily close it here. That's the reason why I put in a rope like that. You can see here is this one rope which I pulled through, and there is the other rope which is connected to the drum. This end I connect to the liner and then wind the liner into the drum, pull it through, close it in the front, close the window, and then with the air pressure connection here, I can easily install the liner. I prepared it already with this kind of special nut, which is closing by themselves. Fix it here, the other end I fix here. Good, then I check. Do I have my tape? Do I have some cable ties? Something to cut is here. It's a measuring gauge. This should be this kind of glycerine-filled measuring gauge because this is very exact. Does really show the pressure, the real pressure, not any tolerance of pressure, whatever. I have my window here that I can close later this the drum. Then I have oil. I need this oil to put on the liner. That makes the liner more slippery and makes it easier to install. This is the vegetable oil. It should be any vegetable oil, and then it's good for the pipe. Calculate the liner length, what we need. For this, first of all, you should clean your pipe before you do any installation. Then you should do the CCTV immediately before you want to install the liner. This is very important because don't trust any videos which you have seen before. You have to see the actual situation in the pipe. And this you use also to measure the length of the pipe. Don't trust the figures on your CCTV, which tells you any length. Best is measure, mark the cable, and then measure the cable above the pipe, above the ground, to get the real length of the pipe. And this length here is a bit easier. I can do just like that. I have here 1.6 meters. So to prepare the liner, it should be the distance between my fitting and the pipe. We have 76. Good. This means 76. This is the beginning. In this direction is going the pipe. Until here should be the resin. I always turn around this area because when I fill in the resin, then I don't get any resin on this felt area. It still keeps clean, and then later it's easier to replace the clamps. From here, 1.6 meters. This direction is pipe. We impregnate until here to have a bit of spare. The rest should be always around about 70 centimeters. This is the space what I need to fix the rope in the drum. But we want to do steam curing, so we cannot do a closed end liner. We have to do an open end liner. That means our liner will end directly here, and for curing we install in the second step the calibration hose. For this we also have to prepare the calibration hose. And here is the same. So, we could make it easy and do it in the same way like the liner is laying there. Just turn around the first part. Put it next to the liner.
thinking it is correct until here has to be the liner in this direction.
This mark is very, very important because later I need to know, do I have some spare which is going over the pipe length? And this I need because I don't want to end direct here. I need some spare to press the liner exactly here to the pipe, and also here should come out a little bit, because on this end we will make some cuttings for the steam outlet. Our manual calibration hose, because on this end we will make some cuttings for the steam outlet. Our manual calibration hose, the calibration table, you can have it in the diameter of 225 or 300, depending on the main diameters you're working with. It is a very nice impregnation table. It is driven that both rolls are active rolling. Here you can easily set the roller gap, which you can measure here. And you see, all is running parallel with these chains, here with these chains. And yeah, it's a perfect high quality impregnation table. We also have electrician impregnation tables, which are with converting belts in the diameter 225 up to diameter 600. And then we also offer a manual electrician driven impregnation table, which is looking more or less like this, but with electrical drive. Good. To know how much resin we need for our liner, I have here the calculation for the resin. For example, I do pipe 10 meter length, diameter 150 with a 3 millimeter liner. This is a general calculation for all of our liners. You just need to change the thickness or the diameter, and then you can do the calculation for all of our lines. Important is to know the diameter we calculate in meter, multiplicate with the thickness in millimeter, multiplicate with the length in meter, with P, which is 3.14, and then as a result we get the volume liter. For example, like I said, diameter 150, 3 millimeter, 10 meter length. Diameter is 0.15 meter. Thickness 3 millimeter, the length 10 meters. P 3.14 is the result 14.13 liter. But epoxy resins will be never measured in liter. We are always calculating in volume, in kilogram, and that's the reason why we have to calculate it into kilogram. We use, for example, the resin EX22. Here is the mixing ratio 100 to 25. Like I said, epoxy calculation always in kilo. Destiny of the EX22 is 1.1 kilogram per liter. Now, to calculate this 14.13 into liter, this is destiny multiplied by liter. This will be the total amount of resin in kilogram. That means 14.13, this number, 14.13 liter, multiplied by 1.1 kilogram per liter is 15.54 kilogram. And this is the total amount of resin we need for 10 meter. I said mixing ratio 100 to 25. So how much of this 15.54 kilogram is resin and how much is hardener? I just divide the total resin by 125 because the mixing ratio of 125. That means it is 125th part of the total resin. Then one of this result multiplied by 100, that is component A, multiplied by 25 is component B. So, like I've done here before, total amount of resin divided by 125. This is 0.1243. This 0.1243 multiplied by 100 is 12.43 kilogram. It's component A. 0.1243 multiplied by 25 is 3.108 kilogram. That's component B. Now we know exactly for the diameter 153 millimeter thickness, 10 meter length, how much A and B we have to use. So we have done the calculation for the resin, and we should forget to put on the liner a vacuum, because we want to impregnate the liner always with vacuum, so that the air is going out when we fill this space with resin. And for this reason we have here a vacuum system. In the end of the liner I make these cuts into the coating. And when I've done these cuts in the coating, then I can take easily the vacuum with the vacuum set. Now you see, it starts already the vacuum, but on the other end we don't want to lose the vacuum. For this reason I just make a set, and I put any weight on the set. And you see here, with this kind of liner, you get easily the vacuum. The vacuum should be always around 0.5 bar vacuum. Not more and not less. If you make more, you just compromise the felt, and then the resin will go into the felt very, very difficult. So you should have a balanced vacuum that it is easy to impregnate and still no air anymore in the liner. So I prepared already the resin for this 1.6 meter, and this is prepared. Resin has to be mixed always 3 minutes, and it has to be mixed, active mixing I call it. You will see it later when I start. I should say I start now. Good. Whenever you mix, you should mix that you put not too much air into the resin. And this I call active mixing, because not just in the middle, like that. Active mixing is always going around, that you have mixed every part of the resin very well. After 3 minutes mixing, just clean the tool. And then fill the resin into the line. So now I can replace the weight, and you see the vacuum is sucking already the resin into the liner. I fill in the rest of the resin.
Now I just take care that here is no air. You see how easy it got impregnation work. So then I take the liner,
Go to the impregnation table.
open as wide as possible, go through, and then make the setup. Here we have a 3mm liner, 2 times 3mm is 6mm plus 2mm for the coating. This is 8mm. 8mm. And then I start the impregnation. Perfect impregnation in on the point. So we are already on the end. Good. Here is the line where we want to cut the liner because we do the open end liner, and then I can keep it here, open here. Good. Just cut the end of the liner.
So, this end I just cover with my glove that no resin will run into the drum or where else. So, like I said before,
I want to oil the system. I want to oil the liner that he is slipping into the pipe easily.
wind the liner in. Now I take this rope to Pipe.Repair to pull through the liner.
the line is coming out here. The line is coming out here. Now I open it. Pull it over the fitting. And don't forget, we prepared the calibration hose to protect the liner. So just checking everything is fixed, and then close with it. It's tight. I close the window of the drum. Check everything. Things has been tight. Yeah. So, and then checking all the valves are closed, and even in the bottom it is closed. Perfect. You see, it starts to run. Even with this small step. That is open end line. You could hear it was blowing up by himself. Now he is laying in the pipe without any pressure. Afterwards, we install now the calibration hose. We have around about 1 hour pot life, so it is enough time to work, concentrate without any stress, without any hectic. So, now we installed the liner. In the second step, we want to install the calibration hose, which we use for curing, which we use for the steam curing. So, I just need to pull through the rope again, that I can later pull through the calibration hose. And this I've prepared already, like this. One is the rope,
for connecting calibration hose, one is the rope to pull through the calibration hose. Here I prepared the calibration hose. Now we fold it to a set as small as possible. Over the seam will be always the best to fold it. I fix it with the cable tie. Then I make a special hook. Some of the sailors know how it calls. I don't know the name of it, but it is very successful. You see, if you pull, it pulls tight, and then it keeps the calibration hose tight, and yeah, you will not lose it. I need to take another cable tie. And the last one. Then I cut it. And to get no sharp edge because of these cable ties, which could destroy inside during inversion inside the calibration hose, I cover it with tape. So, now one very important thing is, here we mark the end of the pipe. This is the distance which we have more material, to press material to the pipe. We said we will do steam curing. We have two possibilities to do steam curing. One will be that we make little cuts into the calibration hose where the steam access is, or we use a steam outlet pipe, which we put later into the end of the liner, into the end of the calibration hose, and then here we can regulate the steam outlet. These two possibilities we have, and yeah, if you have success to the second manhole where the liner is coming out, then I always would prefer this kind of steam outlet. If you have no success to this area, that it ends into a main pipe wherever, then you have to make the small cut into the calibration hose. I have a description for steam curing, and there you have a schedule where you can see for each diameter how much cuts and how big the cuts has to be for minimum. That is just an advice, a helping tool. Your own experience, and you see, okay, I have more air capacity, I have more steam capacity, then I make some more cuts into it, or my air capacity is less, then I have to make less steam holes into the end. So the reason why I have here the access to the end, then I use the pipe, then I can show how to do this. But you also have to prepare it, because the calibration hose which is running out here should be covered with a second calibration hose, because when you want to make a cut into the calibration hose, so you should, for safety, make a second calibration hose to cover it. And this piece I have here. That means as soon as the liner is the calibration hose is coming out here, he should run into this calibration hose. To be sure that he will do it, I just take this piece of liner, put it here in, and then he will easily run here into it. Good. So, calibration hose is prepared. Now I wind it into the drum. And here is the same. I oil it, give some oil on it, that he will slip in easier. On both sides. Good. This will pulling through. Here I have the package with the liner and calibration hose. Don't forget to put the clamp before you pull the liner over the calibration hose, over this part.
open as wide as possible, because now we have a big package. As tight as possible. Good.
Just need to close the roof.
The window, and then we can start
with the calibration. Now we do the installation of the calibration hose. Just make it tight so that I get the right feeling for it. Have one hand here to get the feeling, one hand here for the pressure. And you see already, he starts to work. Starts to run. 0.05. I can regulate the speed by the pressure. So I see it was not going into the calibration hose, and I just need to reduce the pressure. Take the calibration hose over the liner, over this other calibration hose. And then go on with installation. So, now I fix it. Now I fix it. The curing pressure would be 0.3 bar on the bar. And when I put on the curing pressure, then he will get very strong, very tight, and will press the liner to the pipe. But I don't want to make this hole for the steam outlet with the highest pressure. So I reduce the pressure to 0.15, 0.2. Then it is not too strong, not too hard to get the hole into it. You have to have a very sharp knife. Okay, now we put in the steam outlet pipe and we open just a little bit. And now it is important to keep the pressure, as we said, 0.3 bar. And this I regulate here at the steam mixing unit. That means I come in with my air. go through here, through the steam adapter into the drum. I connected the steam unit with here this Ypsilon with the two hoses to the steam unit. The steam unit now I switch on because this way is closed. This way is closed for the steam, but for the air is running through. Now I switch on the steam unit. If you want to use the steam unit the first time, you have to reach diesel, you have to fill in the water, go always to the maximum, and then you switch on. Wait a few seconds, and then you switch on the second switch, and then the steam unit starts to pump in the water, and starts to pump in the diesel, and for the first using, it could take a few minutes until it is done. Here we have done it already since the start, and you see immediately after I switched on, the steam process was starting. Here we have this manometer which shows the pressure. It is important to wait until the pressure is in the green area, and then we start also to use the steam. The steam unit is producing a steam from about 160-170 degrees. This is on the outlet. When we go into the temperature here, but we mix the cold air into it. So we regulate here the steam, we regulate here the pressure. And then we come up to a temperature what we want to have. For a beginning, I always recommend to have here around about 80 degrees, then you will have on the pipe around about 60 degrees. And when you can measure this temperature also on the end of the pipe, then there is a good balance in it, and then you can increase the temperature up to whatever, 90 degrees for example, then you will have around about 80 degrees on the pipe, 70 to 80 degrees. It always depending also on the surrounding the ambient temperature. When it is very high, it is easier to come to higher temperatures. So I have heard it was switching off, okay, because we reached already the complete pressure. It is heating up completely. So then I open here, and then I slowly open here. As soon as I open here a little bit, I can see already how the temperature increases. Always take care when you regulate here that your curing pressure is not going too high. So you can see already it's easily increasing to 60 degrees. Now we reach 60 degrees. I slow down a bit. We have 70 degrees. I just wait until I see some steam is coming out on the end. Today it is warm, so it will be not so easy to see any steam. In the winter time it is easier. Yeah, it's coming out hot already. Yeah. So I increase slowly the temperature that I have in the pipe around about 80 degrees for example, and then I keep it on this level until the complete curing time. When the complete curing time is done, I just switch off the steam unit and let pass the cold air. when this is going on in this process, and I can cool down to 35 degrees roundabout, then I can take off the pressure, cut both ends, or open the pipe, and it's ready.